Uh, it's about 12:02 and we're going to get started in the next minute or so. I'm Lisa Colopy. I'm the Family Engagement Advocate here at Wood Services, and we wanted to welcome you. And we have a wonderful presentation this afternoon. So I'd like to see if we can get started and introduce to you our presenter today, Claire Leal, from the Bucks County Center for Independent Living. Claire has a wonderful presentation for us. So she will be getting started in the next minute or so. I do ask that if you are joining us, if you do put your contact information, your name and your title in the chat, and you want to share that with us so that we know who you are and that you are joining us today. We also ask that you stay on mute until the end of the presentation. We will have a lot of time after for questions, and then we can have Claire address them at the end of the presentation. So without further ado, Claire, we welcome you to Wellness Wednesday.
Thank you. My name is Claire Leal. I am the Director of Services at the Bucks County Center for Independent Living. For those of you who are not familiar with the Center for Independent Living, we are a cross-disability, non-residential, nonprofit organization.
Did you heat
Um,
it up?
I'm sorry. So I'm going to keep going. So one of the questions we always get right off the bat, when I say that we are non-residential is kind of where does the independent living piece of it come from? Um, like I said, we are a non-residential social service agency. And when we talk about the independent living, we really are talking about the independent living philosophy. Um, we like, there's a quote that independent living is a state of mind. It has to do with exercising options, making choices, self-determination, and the right to control your own life. And really, that's what the independent living philosophy is. It is the belief that persons with disabilities have the same basic rights as persons without disabilities to participate and contribute to community life. It's about seeking opportunity to exercise self-determination um, in all aspects of life. Um, and that philosophy really spurred the independent living movement. And that movement really rejects the idea of a medicalized view of disability. It really emphasizes that disability is a natural part of the human existence. And it really works to address barriers that are social, such as physical accessibility, um, systematic exclusion from like education, employment, and civil rights, including housing. So it's really the idea that independent living is really not about doing things by yourself, but having a choice and a say in how things are done. And that's where the independent living piece of the Center for Independent Living really comes from. And but what is actual, where did the centers really come from? They came out of that civil rights movement and the independent living philosophy. And it was championed by, independent and disability rights advocates such as Ed Roberts, who was the founder of the independent living movement. And it really started out in a Center for Independent Living in Berkeley in 1972. That's where the center really, that as a space and a space, services, and a movement of philosophy came together. And the great thing about what came out of that was really that it addressed the need for services, and it was run by people with disabilities for people with disabilities. And that really moved that's the first Center for Independent Living, and that idea really moved, spread across the nation throughout the late 70s. And so some of the disability and SIL, we like to call them SILs, history. The first one was in 1972. They came out of the Rehabilitation Act and the Rehabilitation Amendment that really provided funding for Center for Independent Living. Today, Centers for Independent Living can be state funded and federally funded. So that funding really helped create those centers. The Americans with Disabilities Act, the ADA, that passed in 1990, and we just celebrated the 36th anniversary of, really helped expand SILs in advocating for accessibility and inclusion. The Olmsted decision, which is really in the news today, and the the attack on the disability, the Olmsted decision, um, really was also something that was championed and continues to influence the services that SILs provide today. Um, in the 2000s, that Centers for Independent Living, they expanded across the nation. And as of today, the National Council on Independent Living really lists about 780 SILs and silks. Silks are sent statewide independent living councils throughout the country, and there are centers for independent living throughout the country. There are about 16 in the state of Pennsylvania currently, and they are international. And hopefully this works. I wanted to just share. Our executive director was recently on a trip to Japan and did some outreach to some SILs there. And you can see that they are also they follow that independent living philosophy and movement. And so that was a really exciting thing that really brought the Lehigh Valley Center for Independent Living and the Bucks County Center for Independent Living made great connections through that experience in Japan recently. So they exist in every state of the country and in internationally as well. So what makes a SIL a SIL? Well, we all provide 5 core services, and those services are information and referral services, advocacy, peer support, independent living skills, and transition services. When we talk about transition services, we talk about youth transition, working with young adults moving from school to work. We also talk about nursing facility transition and nursing facility diversion as some of those core services. Um, they all SILs believe that people with disabilities know what's best for people with disabilities, and that those services can be met with a range of services, and that people with disabilities should be part of their community in the fullest extent possible. And the unique thing about Centers for Independent Living, they are 51% of the staff and board members are people with disabilities. We all promote the philosophy of independent living, including the ideas of consumer control, um, peer support, self-help, self-determination, equal access, individual and systems advocacy, and the idea of dignity of risk. Um, those are some of the things that really make a SIL a SIL. Um, so who are we specifically at the Bucks County Center for Independent Living? Well, like I said, we are a cross-disability, non-residential nonprofit, and we're a social service agency. The Bucks County SIL was established in 2005. We came out of that, like I said, that 2000s expansion. And we reorganized and affiliated with the Lehigh Valley Center for Independent Living in 2022. I've been the director here um, since 2022, so it's been about 4 years. We really have worked to expand our programs and really reach out to all of our community partners and agencies throughout Bucks County in that time. We are a state-funded Center for Independent Living. So as I said before, there's federal funding and state funding. We are a state-funded Center for Independent Living. That means our funds are a line item in the state budget, but our funds pass through OVR. So that is who, kind of does our oversight. Our mission is that we envision a world free of barriers where people with all types of disabilities can live their dreams. And our mission as a nonprofit agency in Bucks County is to empower people with all types of disabilities to achieve independence in an inclusive community. So we've talked about those core services. So what are the core services? Again, those core services are free. Like I said, we're funded through the state budget. And so eligibility requirements for our core services really are self-identifying with a disability, any type of disability. And if you are looking for services for yourself, a friend, a family member, um, that that is included in that eligibility. And for our core services, you must be a resident of Bucks. If you're not a resident of Bucks and you have questions, you need support, you're looking for how to get in touch with a SIL in your area or services in your area, you can always give us a call. We're never gonna, um, not answer the phone or turn someone away because they don't live in Bucks County. We're gonna get you connected to the services in your area. So information referral, that is, one of our core services. Um, and what does that look like? It's really providing resources and information for people with any type of disability. Like I said, if it's not something we do ourselves, we're going to get you connected to someone who does. Um, you can reach out through email, phone call, um, you know, and we will get back to you within 2 business days. You're always welcome to come and see us in person. We are available by appointment for our in-person appointments. We're here Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. We have a very small office. And so that's why we say by appointment because we can't always guarantee that someone is going to be here. We might be out in the community doing an event or providing a service in a school. So we always do by appointment. And like I said, those appointments can be held in person, virtually, or over the phone. And anyone can make a referral. It's like I said, it's just a phone call or an email. And as I said before, those services are free. You can utilize any other service and still utilize our services as well. So peer support. So for here, us at the Bucks County SIL, peer support is really, run by people with disabilities for people with disabilities. It's really an opportunity to connect, play games, talk about things that are, of an interest to you. We do those both virtually and in person. We also can do them individually. If you are looking for someone to check in with, to just, talk with, to stay connected or have questions. We can do that individually as well, as or if group things are just not your thing. We have individual services, and those, like I said, can be virtual or in person. Um, we do a virtual all ages session Thursdays at 11. That's open to anyone, anywhere. Um, we also do a young adult group on Wednesday mornings at 10. We also have virtual evening peer support. That's really 18 to 30 is that's been that group typically. And that's on Wednesday, every other Wednesday at 6. Um, and so those are our peer supports. And again, we are always here to meet the need of the community. And so if there's, a group of people who are looking for something and those don't work, we always are willing to expand our services and programs to meet what is an interest in the community. And so advocacy. So, advocacy, both systems and individual advocacy is one of those core services and what makes a SIL a SIL. We, as the Center for Independent Living, will talk with our legislators, work with other community groups in a nonpartisan way to address issues that are important to the disability community. We host different events that may teach self-advocacy skills. And we are actually hosting one on September 22nd, an art and advocacy night. And it's really working with a group called SAIL. They train advocates. And we're going to be doing some tie-dye and talking about different ways to advocate, talk with your legislators, and what disability topics and issues are interesting in for that group. We also work with individuals, if they have questions or looking for resources, and work on those self-advocacy skills. So it's really up to a consumer how they want to participate with us, and advocacy is one of those core services that we provide. Independent living skills. So, independent living skills, we provide those both in person and in group. In person, we do individual and group sessions, and they really focus on what a consumer is interested in working on. We are here to support your goals. We're not going to tell you what goals you should follow, or this is what you're interested in, and we will work with providing support and lessons on those goals that you're interested in. We do monthly sessions on employment as a workshop, and that is in the evening. And we also do offer a session. We've been offering sessions in the past, and if people are interested and would like to attend a group session, we have done that in the past and created one during the day. And then we do, like I said, individual. So working with consumers on whatever it is that they are interested in working on. We've worked with young adults on how to budget. We've worked with consumers on things like, learning how to fill out forms or using the computer better. Really, you know, it is up to the consumer how those sessions are structured and how on the goals that they want to participate in. So transition. Transition can mean a lot of different things. Life is full of transition, and part of life throughout. We work with young adults, either individually on all of those things, employment skills, on budgeting. We also do sessions in classrooms on various topics. We've also provide information on nursing facility transition and diversion services. If those are topics that are of an interest, someone can give us a call. They have questions, even if we don't, again, if we don't do that specific service, like we don't provide nursing facility transition as a direct service, but we're going to get connected to who does and all the services that may be supporting that goal. We have a young adult group that meets on the third Thursday of every month. That group is typically 15 to about 25. And then, like I said, we have a peer support group, a young adult peer support group that meets as well. And those are all ongoing events that happen monthly. In addition, we've hosted a youth transition conference last year. We're hoping to have one again. Last year, as many of you know, were difficult with our budgeting impasse and getting that off the ground didn't happen, but we're hoping to get that happening again this year. We also support statewide programs through our partnership with the Lehigh Valley Center for Independent Living. We are an affiliate of the Lehigh Valley Center for Independent Living. They are a larger center for independent living. They provide a wide number of services and grant programs. And we also support some of their efforts as well. One of those is supported decision making. They, have a supported decision making program with a website, toolkits. They're looking this year to do like webinars and different presentations to really talk more about supported decision making as an alternative to guardianship, and all of the resources and training to both individuals and organizations that that program supports. They also support community inclusion for young children that's open statewide. These are both programs that are open statewide. You don't have to be a resident of the Lehigh Valley. Community inclusion is a group for parents with young children, and it really provides support groups, monthly trainings, both in English and Spanish. They provide coaching for staff, from staff, information, resources, and support, and a peer mentorship program. And again, there are some in-person events that happen in the Lehigh Valley, but a large majority of those activities are virtual and are open to anyone throughout the state. And the Bucks County still here, we partner with community organizations to provide different educational programs presentations. We've worked with the county to provide waiver and sessions on the waiver in Bucks County, OVR services. We've held them throughout the county in different regions of the county. We do classroom presentations throughout Bucks County. We will meet with anyone who is interested in hearing from us. So we will present to small, large groups. We also are partnering with OVR in a fee-for-service program that is called P2P, which is Pathways to Partnership, and we is a collaboration with OVR and local school districts to provide independent living skills, education, and community-based activities. Um, we started that last year with one school district. We're expanding to probably three school districts. And then after that program grant is over, we're hoping that that will continue as a fee for service and we can work with different schools throughout Bucks County to provide independent living skills and community-based instruction throughout Bucks County. Um, that is more specific and extensive than our usual classroom presentations or information sessions. And then we do, like I said, advocacy events and partner with others for education throughout the state and throughout Bucks County. So that is who we are and what we do. If you have any questions, I'm, here to answer any questions. And this is how you get in contact with us.
Hi, Claire. Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
That was a wonderful presentation. If you look at the screen, Claire does have contact information, and in the chat is her direct contact information with phone number and email as well. One question I did get, Claire, was that if we were going to be able to share your contact information and if
Mhm.
this presentation was going to be shared. It is being recorded and will be shared with all of our participants post today's presentation. So um, it doesn't look like we have any direct questions. If you do, you can, oh, there is one. Hold on. How does one become an advocate for your center?
How do you become an advocate for us specifically? Give me a call. We can definitely talk about that. We are always, open to support. If you'd like to join us at our advocacy event, that is definitely a good place to start. We definitely are always we talk with our legislators throughout the year, and we always, enjoy having our consumers and board members and anybody who has an interest in the community to support us come with us. That's always an option.
Great.
Talking and really to advocate for us is something is really talking with your legislators, your state reps and state senators. Our budget, like I said, is about 95% through the state budget. And so we are, as a center for the Centers for Independent Living, state funded Centers for Independent Living, haven't seen an increase in our funding in about 3 or 4 years. And so advocating for us is what is one of our big things is being able to be funded and be able to increase our services throughout the county.
Thanks, Claire. I do have another question. Is the legislative event in September that you spoke of open to the public?
Yes, it is open to anyone. Hmm.
Okay, great. And then,
How would, sorry to interrupt, that was my question. How
Okay.
would we get information about that? Because we have someone at a Woman's Place who does that, who
Oh,
works
okay.
with policymakers and advocates for certain
Hmm.
issues, and I'm sure the issues that we're advocating for overlap.
Yes. If you want to, like, if you have my email, if you want to send, oh, let me put my direct email. I
Yeah, that'd be
think,
great.
yeah, let me,
Thank you so much.
um, that event is open to anyone. It's really, advocates, people with disabilities, parents of people with disabilities, educators. anyone that is interested in advocacy and that has, I can send you the registration information for that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, we're partnering with another group that's called SAIL. They are working uh they train advocates, and they're
Okay,
really looking to increase the community within like the southeastern part of the state, because they are a statewide group, and they're really looking to kind of create a more consistent the group, within in the southeastern part of the state.
great. That's great. And is the event at your office or is it
So
somewhere? No.
So it's not at our office. I'm waiting for confirmation exactly where it
Okay.
is.
I'll
So,
wait.
uh,
I'll
if
hold
you want
off.
to register, that's great.
Okay.
And then I will send out an email to let everybody know where that
Perfect.
event is.
Yeah, I would love to.
It's
Thank you.
definitely going to happen that day. I will make it happen that day. We have a great art partner who's going to, help us with the art piece of it. And it's just really a chance to do something fun and creative while talking about all of those issues that are really important. And
Awesome.
how do we talk to our legislators, and how do we, um, you know, create a group of advocates,
Yeah.
around disability rights and issues within Pennsylvania.
Amazing. I would love to register. Should I
Great.
should I put my email in the chat or you'll have everyone's email from this event?
Yes, yes. And if
Okay.
you received our newsletter, because we do a monthly newsletter, it was in that in our newsletter. It's also on our Facebook page,
Okay.
um, and our Instagram. But yes, if I get your information, I will send you the registration directly.
Great. Thanks so much.
Great. Claire, we do have a couple more things. I
Okay,
am going to connect you with some of our participants today. They do want the advocacy information.
absolutely.
So if that's something that we can coordinate and then share with all of our
Hmm.
participants, that would be great.
Yep.
Another question I have is what is your connection with Woods? Um,
What is our well, my personal connection with Woods, I, like so many other social service professionals in Bucks County, actually my first job was at Woods. But so, and I think that we've just been as far as the SIL has gone, we've partnered with Woods on different like outreach events, and have really supported each other in that way. And we also referred some of our consumers to the, programs that you offer as well.
right. Okay. And we will also be able to share the chat with you, Claire, so that
Okay.
you have
Yeah, that's
everybody's
great.
information. Are there any other questions? This has been a great collaborative presentation. I really appreciate Claire you taking the time to speak with us and our audience today. If there is any other questions, if you can put them in the chat. If not, we want to thank you, Claire, for this wonderful presentation, and thanks to everyone who participated today. We will be sending out a post email with the presentation slides. It was recorded, and any of the questions that we get, and Claire's contact information as well. So, okay, great. All right.
Thanks.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us this afternoon, and hopefully we will see you at our next Wellness Wednesday sessions.
Thanks so
Thank,
much. Have a good
thank
day.
you.
Bye-bye.